Get to it. This is it.
Let's make sure we protect each other's mental space. If you ever need me, just call. I'ma come running, give it my all. Love is love, God wins. Keep your vibrations high and watch how your blessings.
Brother, namaste, Ashe, salutation, shalom, peace. Hey, y'all thought we wasn't about to come back. Knew we were coming back. Let's get a little bit of music playing.
I'm a content creator.
It's okay.
This is my job.
Hey, I bet they mad.
From TikTok to YouTube to Twitch to Kick.
What? Nigga, we made it.
You be creators of nonsense, content of self-importance, hate spreading to no end, viral emptiness, no substance. Stop hogging the spotlight and just share that ish. It goes a longer way when you spread that ish. Make it way, and just spray that ish. Real chosen ones out here to change that ish. From TikTok to YouTube to Twitch to Kick. Yeah, with it, we built it, you can't flip me dip it. From TikTok to YouTube to Twitch to Kick. Yeah, with it, we built it, you can't flip me dip it. Algorithms don't move us. We move to rhythm of truth in us. Hating on love in your sleep. Time is up, now we numbers deep.
Whoa.
One love in multiple forms, vibrating contrary to norms, creating waves worldwide, elevating frequencies high. From TikTok to YouTube to Twitch to Kick. Yeah, with it, we built it, you can't flip me dip it. From TikTok to YouTube to Twitch to Kick. Yeah, with it, we built it, you can't flip me dip it. You can't flip the script.
Whoa.
You're having a lecture. Get with it, we built it. You can't flip me dip it.
These people don't understand. Stop trying to hog the spotlight and share that shit.
We're off DaWise, talk to him.
We built this. To the moon. To the moon, Alice.
I'm a content creator.
It's okay.
This is my job.
This is our job.
From TikTok to YouTube to Twitch to Kick.
What? Nigga, we made it.
You be creators of nonsense, content of self-importance, hate spreading to no end, viral emptiness, no substance. Stop hogging the spotlight and just share that ish. It goes a longer way when you spread that ish. Make it way, and just spray that ish. Real chosen ones out here to change that ish. From TikTok to YouTube to Twitch to Kick. Yeah, with it, we built it, you can't flip me dip it. From TikTok to YouTube to Twitch to Kick. Yeah, with it, we built it, you can't flip me dip it. Algorithms don't move us. We move to rhythm of truth in us. Hating on love in your sleep. Time is up, now we numbers deep.
Whoa.
One love in multiple forms, vibrating contrary to norms, creating waves worldwide, elevating frequencies high. From TikTok to YouTube to Twitch to Kick. Yeah, with it, we built it, you can't flip me dip it. From TikTok to YouTube to Twitch to Kick. Yeah, with it, we built it, you can't flip me dip it. You can't flip the script.
Whoa.
You're having a lecture. Yeah, with
It's
it,
free,
we built it.
people. Knowledge is free.
These people don't understand. Stop trying to hog the spotlight and share that shit.
We're off DaWise, talk to him.
We built this. To the moon. To the moon, Alice.
So you see, you guys see what's taking place on this planet. You guys, don't want to acknowledge it. We don't want to accept that this could be happening, right? That, this whole Anubaru, Sumerian, Babylonian magic is being revealed to us. It's happening right now, This energy, these variations of energy is being manipulated right now, right? You see North America, you see the energies, patterns of energies, frequencies, so on and so forth, the serpent grid, right? We're watching this. Well, you might not want to look at the depths of it. We would like to say it ain't that deep. This is what they're going to tell you. It ain't that deep, but it is that deep. It's actually deeper than that. It's deeper than that, but they'll tell you it ain't that deep, right? Because they're the implants. It's all about the implants, right? So there's different variations of things that's implanted in the minds, age of humanity, so on and so forth. This is where that idea of the crucifixion implant comes in, right? Invading planetary brain, right? So this is where that comes in. The idea, the idol of Christ on the cross, the reason why we do this whole sacrificial lamb thing, so on and so forth, right? This is where this idea comes in, right? And this is what some people would say is Armageddon software, right? And this is where the wounds of Christ comes in and the redemption program, so on and so forth, right?
Many upcoming frequency transmissions are events related to the reconnection of the Universal Unity Logos field that is based upon rebuilding the crystal star Trinity wave architecture in the planetary brain. This architecture is beginning to help repair and recode the damaged and invaded sections of the planetary logos. The planetary logos is the global brain of the Earth and represents the collective human blueprint body in the morphogenetic field and broadcasts the violet ray to the crown
Happening
7th
right now.
chakra of the human race light body. The rebirth and support of the planetary logos includes recoding the 7th violet ray of ceremonial magic, which changes how ritual/spell/curse energy has been cast or used in black magic rites in the planet. The rebirth of the female Melchizedek Christos Sophia principle to help to embody the crown chakra logos. To help override the distorted electron fields and heal the male mental body principle from Metatronic reversal. And healing the bloodlines from the wounds of Christ, the miasmatic infection held inside the bodies via crucifixion implants. The wounds of Christ are karmic blood miasms in the planetary body and human bodies manifested into genetic distortions as a result of embedded crucifixion inserts that were placed in the planetary brain and collective human race body. These holographic inserts misdirected and stole the planetary life force energy and body parts belonging to our spirit. The false crucifixion.
So this is what's happening right now, right? We're going through these wounds of Christ, if you would say. And our planetary conscious is trying to correct or fix these different variations of wounds.
Crucifixion inserts are how our planetary collective mind was invaded to reflect itself with the salvation model of a crucified deity, which was designed to spread the NAA's violent religions on the earth. Crucifixion represents the consciousness enslavement of humanity to repeatedly recycle their souls from karmically bound physical bodies and distorted blood records, as a result of the wounds of Christ. The crucified group consciousness bodies were used to feed the artificial creations or phantom matrix spaces made by controllers to serve their enslavement agenda on the earth. This is surfacing now to be recoded into alignment with the higher structure of universal laws serving the God source divine purpose, and take account of the abuses and crimes committed from their misuse within the controller and NAA. Groups that have instigated and wielded religious wars and stealing consciousness power from others in the past dark age. This time begins a phase of restoration which is about returning and reclaiming them.
So that's what's happening right now.
Christo-Sophianic intelligence to the earth, and returning the spiritual bodies back to the planet and the rightful owner of which it belongs to.
That's what's taking place right now. We're watching this variation of battle take place right now. What's going on with you? So we're watching this take place right now. These variations of battles that's taking place on a conscious level. We see it in the physical, in the 3D realm. We see it as a physical war, a physical fight, so on and so forth. Spiritually, Muslims might say it's a jihad going on inside the vessels of mankind, whatever the case may be, right? So right now you see these fights taking place, but in the physical, you see it taking place in the form of a physical altercation, right? But really, these fights are taking place within inside mankind, right? You can see the biblical text, of mother versus daughter, daughter versus mother, so on and so forth. You see these variations of things taking place right now, also, right? So you'll see it, but the physical form of it is what you'll see. And that is what they'll manipulate, right? They'll manipulate the physical form of what you see. That's why you'll see this false, Christ consciousness that's awakening, right? Such as Christian Rock pretending like a physical altercation is the way Christ told her to fight. Oh, I'm fighting demons in the boxing ring and so on and so forth, right? So we'll see this antichrist like consciousness awake before we see a Christ like consciousness awake, right? You'll see this antichrist like form projected onto the earth, right? It's the two truths, right? So they'll give you this false notion of what is Christ, right? It's an antichrist like agenda in the form of a Christ, right? And you're seeing that now in society. You're seeing this.
Antichrist agenda. As has been discussed, the NAA attempted to permanently hijack the planetary architecture and diamond sun templates for their explicit use to enslave human consciousness and Earth. They became the superimposed creator and architect of the current global design via the architecture they built for running the Antichrist agendas. They subjugated humanity by superimposing themselves as the architects of Earth through alien hybridization, breeding programs, and genetic engineering, which involved numerous experiments carried out by many non-human species. Currently, a significant amount of guardian host rehabilitation projects with the Solar Rishi involves a massive purging of assorted levels of satanic and Luciferian artificial matrices, which include alien machinery, reversal systems, and holographic architecture, which was directly connected to the lunar matrix and Saturn. These alien architectural systems were given power on the Earth through the co-created efforts made between the primary Luciferian bloodlines and planetary controllers. These are practicing Satanists, who use their satanic rituals and blood sacrifices for communicating with these hostile non-human forces that make up the negative alien agenda. 4.
We can see this right now, whether you want to admit it, right? Or whether you don't want to admit it, you can see this right now. These self-appointed gods, these personas that is playing gods, they hit you with the, thy will be done and all of that stuff, right? It goes deep. It's deep it's embedded in the soil, not the soil of the dirt, but the soil of mankind, human soil, like inside the DNA structure of these mindsets, right?
Self-anointed gods. When these false alien gods waged their Luciferian rebellion and subsequent invasion strategies of conquering planet Earth, these self-anointed gods got to work on devising the various alien hybridization programs filled with genetic experimentation, social engineering, and religious mind control methods to generate consciousness slaves on Earth. The primary life designer for the Belial group, Siamenki, began the first of many genetic experiments for cloning and hybridization breeding programs from the large elongated skulls of his future Syrian Anunnaki progeny of Nephilim with red hair, to the earlier seeding of Neanderthals, which are remnants of his previous Enki life designs for seeding Antichrist species. The main purpose to seed Antichrist species on the planet is to design them to be the natural enemies of the already existing indigenous population, namely the Essene Christos races, in which they would constantly be manipulated to instigate war and genocidal hatred. In order to finally destroy all remnants of Diamond Sun DNA existing within the Earth population. See Syrian Anunnaki.
So
5.
this is why we will never have peace, because their design is to always create war, fight, so on and so forth. is inherited within their genetic DNA to keep us in this mindset, you know, divide and conquer agenda. That's what it's mainly about. It's a tactic, right? It's divide and conquer, right? So when you're looking at it, you're going to look at it like this, because this is the chakras that it's in, right? So is this a problem? Is this relevant to me? Is this the best, worst scenario? Are people influenced by this? Right? These are things that you go through in your mind when you're in these different variations of chakras, right? These are the questions, critical thinking questions, right? To help conquer what's going on, right? And this is psychological warfare that's being placed on us through social media, right? You don't see it. You don't see it because the star seed indigo might not be awakened in a lot of people, right? So a lot of people don't see this agenda. But once you realize it and see it, you'll hear how it is taking effect, through the Kai Cenats, through the Rakais, through the Krishan Rocks, through you can see it in these different content creators. You might not be able to understand it, but it's happening. It's a pattern that's repeating itself.
Many awakened starseeds and indigos are not inherently manipulators, deceivers, or power mongers, as they have come from more advanced civilizations. As a result, our group tends to be even more naive to the hidden motivations, deceit, and complex psycho-emotional manipulation tactics that are used on the Earth to maintain power. When we do not understand the scheming motivations and deliberate divide and conquer tactics that are behind psychopathic behavior, we can be blindsided by the negative forces that are generated in deceptive and secretive agendas. There are dark forces in the world that take advantage of our emotional weaknesses and lack of knowledge in order to harvest negative emotional energy and further enslave human consciousness. Consequently, in order to perceive the harmful motivations behind the extensively pre-planned line of attack and schemes that are used by those who are predatorial in nature, we must study divide and conquer strategies. On planet Earth, we have humans and non-humans that are predatorial by nature and seek to completely dominate, enslave, and even kill other people they believe to be weaker than themselves. Many of these predatorial people are power mongers that may call themselves leaders, but they are really the polar opposite. The definition of a leader is to be of service to the collective group, to something larger than self-interest. Power mongers use extensive manipulation and psychological warfare strategies to get what they want from others. They use coercion and intimidation as basic tools to siphon energy and resources. To more fully understand the manipulation tactics and strategies of those predator minds who have taken over the power structures on the Earth, it is important to identify and recognize their warfare strategies, as they are being carried out in the environment as crimes against humanity. Can we identify the markers that define crimes against humanity that are hidden within complex media manipulations and diversion tactics of divide and conquer strategies? Are we willing to seek the truth and recognize that there are anti-human agendas that are methodically planned out to intentionally harm and destroy the human race and the Earth? What would be the motivations behind power mongers, both human and non-human, that have made the choice to sell out humanity? To acquire earthly power and wealth for blood ransom, which feeds their alien handlers?
Think about it. You see this manipulation taking place all over the internet. You see it, being handed down, this trauma bonding, psychological warfare, this game that's being played where these false leaders are using coercions, trying to make it seem like they can get you to your goal, right? Help you with your salvation, whatever it is that they think that they can manipulate through conversation, right? Getting to know you. What is your goal? What is so they used coercion of the heart, the thinking place, right? Because that's what the heart is in the brain. It is a thinking place. So they use coercions of the heart. They try to get into your thinking, right? And then they try to use the material stuff that they have to manipulate you, right? And then when that don't work, this is when the intimidation comes in. They try to intimidate you so these are the basic tools that you'll see them use, right? Even with this whole social media thing, right? People know that people agenda is to monetize their page. People know that people agenda is to gain traction to their page, maybe their brand, image, whatever it is, right? But you'll have these other higher, you know, platforms that will try to tell you that their goal is to help you with your page, so on and so forth. But then as it goes along, you'll start seeing the variations of manipulation, deceptive strategies, so on and so forth. You'll start seeing this, right? It'll be a division. They'll start telling you to block certain people, take this person off as your mod, right? Don't go over to this person's page. Don't do this. Don't do that, right? They'll start using these certain variations of tactics, these war tactics, right? And you might not pay attention to it, you know? You might not pay attention to it because you might be focused on that end goal, which is growing your page, monetizing your page, right? So they'll tell you like, yo, I'm gonna help you get your page monetized. I'm gonna help you get there, right? So the whole time you thinking about the end goal, which is getting your page there, right? And the whole time what they're doing is they're using your page to plant the hate, to place the division agenda. Whole time you thinking that they're trying to get your page to monetization, but they're using your page to, cause chaos. They're using your page to push out the agenda that ultimately they wouldn't even push out on their page. On their page, they're pretending to be, the holy leaders and so on and so forth. But on your page, they're going to try to get you to push out this. So later on, the agenda would be to paint you out to be the false. And you see this repeatedly, right? You'll see this with Jaguar Wright. You'll see this with Danny Robinson. You'll see this with all these different characters that are supposedly in the black tea sector, right? You'll see them do the same repeated thing. It's a pattern, right? It's an agenda, right? They'll act like they're getting to know you, right? And they're just trying to understand you. But really, the strategy has always been to flip the script on you, right? Divide and conquer through methods of coercion. So the coercion comes with them manipulating you, trying to act like they trying to get to know you and know about your life and know about what it is that you're doing, so on and so forth. Tell me more, right? But the whole time, this is to gain information that they can use to attack you. This is to gain information. You have to be careful with this, right? So they have to gain the information about your person, your personal life, your personal battles, your personal struggles in order to affect you psychologically, right? It's like somebody telling you something that you know you never did. That's not going to affect you as opposed to them taking your truth and manipulating your truth, right? When someone takes your truth or manipulates your truth, it affects you more as opposed to them just putting something on you that's not true, right?
In order to stop unconsciously commiserating with divide and conquer tactics used by corrupt power structures rewarding predatorial people that do not care about the harm they inflict on others, we have to see them in action and understand their larger objectives. Predators, controllers, and tyrants employ the archontic deception strategy's most important psycho-emotional warfare manipulation tactic used for the purpose of annihilating their competition and perceived enemies, which is divide and conquer. Divide and conquer is the primary archontic deception strategy used by the NAA to weaken and disable humanity, by supporting its ideologies through the shaping of its negative belief systems into the fabric of our global society. Broadcasting divide and conquer belief systems is directly related to shaping a world death culture based on endless wars and producing ever-present enemies. We must see divide and conquer when it is being enacted, and be self-aware enough to stop promoting the power structures and predatorial people that insist on carrying out divide and conquer tactics against humanity. Divide and conquer ultimately serves the NAA, and it is the most important warfare principle to understand in the intended conquering of the earth and the consciousness enslavement of the human race. When the human race is divided, we are easily infiltrated and
Think
conquered.
about it.
Divide and
Mhm.
conquer is a socio-political exopolitical militarization tactic to gain and maintain power by breaking up larger concentrations of power into smaller pieces that have less power than the group that is implementing the warfare strategy for takeover.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
The use of divide.
Got a super sticker. So look, this is why I say like the divide and conquer tactic method, like this is why it would always be repeated. You can see this taking place even with the simplest conversations on this platform, right? The simplest conversations on YouTube, it's a divide and conquer type of mindset, right? You see that they have these groups of division. Oh, that's the boxing sector. Oh, that's this sector. That's that sector coming over here. That's this sector coming over here. Really, it's not. It's people who put themselves in certain groups in order to feel this unity with that group, right? But that group doesn't exist without the people that are putting themselves in it, right? This is why we keep on saying, like, we don't want to get stuck in this algorithm or that algorithm. Why? Because this is what takes place. They stick you in this algorithm, and then you're tied to that algorithm because they trauma bond you to that algorithm, right? They trauma bond you to that algorithm. So when you go to another algorithm or another algorithm picks up on you, right? They say, oh, where did this person come from? Oh, I remember them from this sector. And this is what took place with the history of them in that sector, thus far trauma bonding you to that sector, right? It's all the same type of rhetoric. You know what I mean? Appreciate the donation, right? It's all the same type of rhetoric, right? It's all the same type of hypocrisy, if you would say, right? And they don't see the patterns because they're in that group, right? They're the ones that's in the group, right? When it's populated like this, the tactic is simple.
The tactic is to divide the populations or factions of people with shared interests or common goals who might be able to oppose their rule and challenge their power, if collectively unified against the controller group. The agendas to generate conflicts can be covert and hidden, or completely obvious when knowledgeable about divide and conquer strategies that are used for takeover or infiltration of any kind of organization or group, nation or territory. Divide and conquer predatory tactics can be seen just about everywhere in the negative ego mind control that exists in the materialistic 3D way of life. This reflects the long-term shaping of anti-life impulses and values that have been infiltrated into the controller pillars of society. Thus, it trickles down into the unconscious behavior and impulses of many individuals throughout society, which directly influences them in the way they communicate, relate, and think of
So
others.
this is something that you
Divide and
can
rule.
see,
Thus,
right?
divide and conquer strategy, also called divide and rule,
We
works
see
through
this
inciting
right
the
now
controller
happening,
separation, intentionally provoking conflicts between the collective interests of the people, so the warmongering
right?
strategists can
We see
maintain their
this right now happening with us, with our group, right? This is why a multitude of different groups will come against one group. See, their goals is aligned, right? Their goals is aligned because they're practicing division, right? So a multitude of different groups that are practicing division would come against one group that's practicing unity, right? So if you're a group practicing unity, of course you'll have a multitude of groups that's divided come against that one group that's practicing unity. That's why we put the whole love is love thing out there. That's why we went around and showed people with an exemplary measure. Look, even if love poked its head out and showed you a level of unconditional love, right? They're still going to come against it, right? Look at what they did with the whole love is love thing. That was an example of even if you came with just love, let's see the multitudes of groups that will attack love, right? And they all showed their head. They all showed exactly what they, but nobody paid attention to it. Nobody witnessed it. Nobody was like, oh, snap, that's really happening. You know what I mean? right? That's why I said, like, when we were showing these different things, it was to show people examples of what is, how these games are played, right? How this manipulation takes place, right? These are different variations of tactics that they use for society. You know what I mean? And we were trying to just show a level of love. You seen us. We stood up for people. We stepped in there for people that didn't want to speak up for themselves. We gave certain people their voice back, right? Did you see even those people that we did that for? Did they stick around? No. They had an agenda, right? We should have we should have people that want to be a part of this collective because they seen us stand up for them, right? When they didn't want to stand up for themselves, we stood up for them, right? Lady Letitia, you know, Amber's, uh, Salma's, all these different people that still should be like, you know what, that person stood up for me, so on and so forth. You don't see them around anymore, right? Because we wasn't on that same agenda as them. We don't follow the divide and conquer agenda, right? All these other personas, they practice division. They practice division. So when you come in with a group that's actually going to try to put the knowledge back out there, trying to get you to think with your creative mind, if you're not in that creative mind, you're not thinking with no creative mind, right? You looking at the controversy that's selling, the chaos that's selling. Creativity is not selling right now. To sit there and come up with your own, line of whatever it is, that's not selling right now. You know what's selling? Controversy. You know what's selling? Arguments. You know what's selling? You beefing with somebody for a whole 3 years to the point where it's, oh, now I got to take you to court. Now I got to sue you. Now I got to go through this. Now I got to go through that. Make it make sense. These people can choose to sell you something different and put a little knowledge back on your table. All these bigger platforms, they can choose to put a little knowledge back on the table. All of them can choose to have a day where they go into the history or some learning or anything like that. They can all choose to try to do that for the collective. Do you see them choosing that? Every day it's a mess, a mess, a mess. Every day it's a mess, a mess, a mess. Ain't a day go by where it's a blessing or anything like that, a lesson. It's just a mess, a mess, a mess every freaking day. Think about that. There's no days of productiveness, right? This is why I say, this is more psychological than anything. A lot of this is psychological, right? A lot of people play psychological war games, right? And some people try to act like they don't know that they're playing this. Some people try to act like they don't know that they're doing this. They know that they're doing this, right? Some of them know that they're doing this. Some of them know that this is the game that they're playing. Just listen to this. Invoking fear, division concepts, right? These are the things that you can see evident. It's inevitable to not see this, especially on YouTube. Especially on YouTube. Y'all see this.
Psychological warfare is the deliberate use of various manipulation,
It's so draining.
emotion, and deception
It's
techniques,
draining
such
of
as
your
spreading
energy.
propaganda and terror, to induce or reinforce attitudes that are favorable to gain strategic advantage over others. Sun Tzu, a Chinese military strategist, originally said the best victory in warfare is the one in which you never have to fight your enemy in actual combat. Thus, psychological warfare. Tactics are also marketed as a self-improvement sales tool for ambitious, materialistic people that plot to maneuver into positions of power in order to gain advantages in business, relationships, and socio-political influence. Essentially, this is to secretly scheme and manipulate others in a well-thought-out strategy in order to get what you want from the power structure and to get access to other people's resources. Generally, it is desirable to achieve these goals in such way that the plotters remain undetected in their climb to power and position, without anyone even realizing the entire situation was a calculated scheme. In the past, such Machiavellian schemes were thought to portray the devious behavior of criminals and despots, believed to have undesirable and even appalling human character traits. Today, these extremely negative behaviors are normalized and commonly applied in the business operations of the everyday world, by financially rewarding people that act as predators. Thus, the current terrain requires that we open our mind to comprehend the most common concepts of psychological warfare, because all of us are being exposed to it every day. What are the predator mind scheming? Invoke fear. The purpose is to manufacture as much fear as possible to create dread and terror in the
You
minds
see
of the
that
people,
happening?
so that they will avoid
Tell me
rising
you
in
don't
ranks
see
and
that
instead
happening.
become weaker and disabled.
One's in the chat.
To maintain this
You see this
continual state
happening,
of fear
right?
buried in life's many stressors, as well as perceived threats to survival, means activating the fight or flight reaction in the human nervous system and brain. Eventually, this takes a serious toll on the overall health of the body and sanity of the mind, as it rapidly breaks down immunity, increases disease states, and drives painful mental imbalances. Division to confusion. When the opponent group targeted for attack is large, cooperative, and unified in their forces, by separating them from one another or separating them into smaller units, the entire group is more easily defeated and controlled. When the separation
Tell me
into
you didn't
smaller
see that
units is
happen with the
successful,
Discord.
the attack is then on their
Tell
common
me you
bonds
didn't
of
see that
unity,
happen with the Discord.
seeking to confuse them with fear and misinformation so they will not know which way to turn, what to expect, or who to trust. In the stewardship of any project or organization, this is a critical concept to understand. Demoralization, a process in psychological warfare with the objective to erode morale or dehumanize those perceived as the enemy. By intending to destroy their dignity and morale, it can encourage them to retreat, surrender, or defect rather
Tell
than
me
to
you
force
didn't
on
see
or
this
to defeat
happen
them
with
in
the
physical
platform.
combat. Demoralization and dehumanization is the most important tool of psychological warfare and intentional torture used to break a person. Demoralization is most commonly implemented through various forms of fabricated propaganda to weaken people, while dehumanization is commonly used by the satanic agenda to mock and defile human dignity or attack the spirit within the person.
Listen,
Ignorance versus intelligence.
here
Those
we
that have the
go.
most knowledge, intelligence, and conscious awareness of what is really
This is
happening
why
in the
they
workplace
never
will have the
spoke
most
about
strategic advantage.
what we do over
Those that do
here.
not have access to accurate awareness of events or truthful knowledge, but instead are manipulated and deceived to believe false impressions and illusions, will be at a greater disadvantage. Knowledge of the truth is power. Managing intelligence and controlling access to information includes supplying the perceived enemy or opponent with disinformation, in order to trick them into making the wrong decisions based on lies. In the current warfare climate, diminishing easy access to open source knowledge and sharing of information freely within the global community, it is an important concept to understand. Overwhelm and wear down. Constantly use greater strength in applying heavy forces that
Tell
overwhelm
me.
your opponent by creating never-ending issues that are
Tell me.
designed to wear him down and erode his willpower and resiliency. Bureaucracies, impossible compliance, insurance, tax, and legal channels that keep people bogged down in never-ending paperwork, long lists and queues, under the threat of intimidation, or threat to financial security or persecution.
You don't see all of
This is
that over
also
here?
carried out in legal forms as death by 1,000 paper cuts, through the increase of overwhelming problems and burdensome bills. When people's hopes are crushed and their expectations for their life are confused and burdened, eventually they become so drained they have no energy to refuse the constant attempts of subjugation and just give up. How many of these tactics of psychological warfare that are normalized in our everyday society can you recognize that are currently impacting the quality of your life? Knowing that these strategies are being implemented, what can you do to change how you approach the control structures and the employed people that blindly follow a boilerplate that
Do this
unconsciously
not
reinforce these divide and conquer schemes?
do this not sound very, very familiar? to act accurate to what we just witnessed over here in the last year? The year and whatever we've been over here, right? We witnessed these schemes, you know? You witnessed these schemes. You witnessed their tactics. You might not want to admit that you did, you know? You might not want to say that you did, but we witnessed this. That's crazy. We see it.
I'm not allowed to say murder, you killed him. I've got to say rape for sexual assault. I want to say murder. Oh yes, you killed him, but I'm gagged and it ain't my fault. Can't talk, 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 can't talk. I know the truth is hard to swallow, but these rules we need to follow. Omission still allow you be in trouble if you don't comply. What about freedom? God-given freedom. I'm talking about freedom. Freedom from Babylon. Murder, you killed him. I've got to say rape for sexual assault. I want to say murder. Oh yes, you killed him, but I'm gagged and it ain't my fault. Can't talk, 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 can't talk. Now we reading between the lines with emojis, all these signs we babble, 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 babble on. It's like freedom is babble gone. It's all about freedom, God-given freedom. I'm talking about freedom, freedom from Babylon. Can't talk, can't talk, can't talk, ooh, can't talk, can't talk, can't talk, ooh, can't talk, can't talk, can't talk, ooh, can't talk, can't talk, can't talk.
Y'all make sure y'all hit the Cash App or the PayPal. Support the page or whatever way you can. Support truth. Support knowledge. Support unity. Support.
Oh yes, you killed him, but I'm gagged and it ain't my fault. Once you know your role, then you're good as gold. But Cain slew Abel, so the story's been told. Got a lifetime of surprises every day the sun rises. All I know is can't turn back, can't turn back now. Can't turn back, can't turn back now. Can't go back, can't go back. Can't turn back, can't turn back now. I lived on a tightrope, Never wanted to leave center. Always trying to figure out love. I am not the inventor. Got a lifetime of surprises. What I realize is every day the sun rises. Can't turn back.
Yeah, I need. That's why I got to get somebody to come hold it down while I go take care of stuff. Because I need somebody to come up in the damn gas box and just be here so I can go do some stuff and come back. I need like a co-host or something, you know what I mean? Somebody that could fill in for me and hold it down while, cause now I gotta run and do something. But then when I come back, I'm going live again. Like, so I guess we're just gonna make this a 50-something minute live. And then when I come back, I'm going live again. Like, we're not stopping now because we monetize. So I'm thinking about it. Like, all we gotta do is just keep going live. You know what I mean? That's all I gotta do is just keep going live as much as possible, right? So all I gotta do is be present. What y'all think? Just go live as much as possible? What y'all think? I'm thinking about just going live as much as possible. You know? Just demand the space. Demand this space. Huh? We taking this space. This is our space now. We can't turn back now. This is our space. It's time to build it. Consistency, right? Yeah, we be right back, y'all. We be right back. I'm gonna go take care of this and then we coming right back.